Hey, we're starting this video out a little bit differently than I typically do. Instead of sharing all the ingredients that I'm using for my budget meals today, I'm going to start by cutting and chopping all of my veggies to get that knocked out and out of the way. Thought we'd switch things up a little bit. I'm also saving my scraps for my veggie scraps for veggie broth. I will put that recipe down in the description box below. I've been putting it in every single video as of recently because you guys have been loving it. But we're getting all the cutting, all the chopping out of the way, and you're really going to love these recipes. And I'm going to share with you, as always, the cost that it is for me. And I have to say this in every video, the costs vary obviously where you live, whether it's in the US or a different country, state to state it varies, but this gives you some guideline and kind of some reference as how I plan our meals, and hopefully it'll give you some great ideas for your own home as well. To another budget-friendly recipe video where today I'm going to share with you whole one-pot recipes that are just $5 for me to create. You all have been loving these inexpensive meals so much. Thank you for all the wonderful feedback. Today you're going to see a one-pot dinner idea, but you can obviously use this for any meal. There's no food rules. And then next week, I'm actually preparing an Instant Pot / pressure cooker video because so many of you have been asking for that. So I thought, why not give you some recipe ideas that me and my husband love. For starters, you do not need a Dutch oven for any of these recipes, but if you have one, use it. I was recently at HomeGoods and saw some amazing fall Dutch ovens. Oh my gosh, I am here for those colors. They match my house, so I kind of wish that I was more of a maximalist versus a minimalist because I would have purchased one, but I'm the type of person that I'm like, okay, I have one, I don't need a second one. I mean, do I though? Anyways, actually I do have two now that I think about it. I guess I don't really need three. But anyways, if you're looking for an incredible Dutch oven, I will link mine down in the description box below, plus a playlist with more one-pot meal ideas. But if you're on the lookout and you want one that is fall or holiday forward, make sure you check out HomeGoods and TJ Maxx because I saw some beautiful ones over there this week as well. Ingredients for the first meal, you're going to need 1 cup of lentils, some pasta, a small onion, some tomato paste, a can of diced tomatoes, garlic, veggie broth, and seasonings of choice. The first thing I always like to do is to get my pot on my stovetop and turn the heat to about medium-high. Get my onions, veggies in. For this one, I'm doing onions and a little bit of veggie broth instead of water. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I don't cook with oil. It's personal preference. If you use oil, use oil. If not, water or veggie broth is awesome. Then I added some salt and seasonings. I'm using about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. You could use anything that you like, but this meal right here is what I would have called growing up, well, my mom would have called, my grandma would have called a goulash or a hot dish, I guess. I'm not sure if those are like terms all over, but that's what this is. It's kind of like a hamburger helper replacement. And I'm really hoping to share with you some great ideas to save some money that are family friendly as well. So once my onions were cooked to my liking, I went ahead and added, like I said, my seasonings, my salt, my Italian seasoning, and then I added some garlic and my lentils, stirred that up, added 4 cups of water. I will leave a lentil recipe down in the description box below. Once my lentils were almost completely done, I added my pasta, which this is Banza gluten-free chickpea pasta, my small can of diced tomatoes, which also have Italian seasoning in them because they're the same price as regular tomatoes, so you might as well get that extra bang for your buck and have some extra seasonings if you want it, and some tomato paste. You could add really anything you want to this. You could add pumpkin instead of tomato in case that gives, any issues with your tummy or acid reflux. I just did a no tomato-based soup recipe in crock-pot recipes, so I'll link that video in the videos down below. If you just click the down arrow, you'll see a ton of videos that I am linking. So then I just put the lid on it and kind of let it finish cooking for about 7 minutes until my pasta is done. You can see this is nice and thick and delicious, and it makes a ton of food. Like I said, it mimics kind of a hamburger helper or a goulash or a hot dish. It's really delicious. You could add anything you'd like to this. You could make it super creamy if you wanted to add some coconut milk or unsweetened nut milk. You could use any kind of pasta you'd like. If you're not gluten-free, this recipe would be even cheaper because, as we know, regular pasta is always cheaper than gluten-free. So here is recipe number 1. My kitchen smelled so good this day, and as you know, I like to make our meals ahead for our busy weeknights, so I'll just warm this up when we're ready to eat it. You all know I love to share with you the cost of each meal. Like I said, these are both $5 or less, so lentils, pasta, all these ingredients are really inexpensive and probably things you have on hand. So you can screenshot this next little clip right here if you want the recipe. And here are my costs. Lentils, 40 cents for 1 cup dry. Pasta, which is gluten-free, around 8 ounces, cost me for this meal about $2.50. Again, if you're not gluten-free, that is going to lower the price significantly. Gluten-free pasta right now is about 5 times as expensive as regular pasta. It's kind of crazy. Can of tomatoes, 64 cents. Tomato paste, I just took half of the can and used it for both recipes, so I split that cost in half. And then an onion for about 50 cents for a total of $4.38. I would say this meal is a hearty meal of 5 servings, so you're looking at about $1 per serving, which is really incredible. For this next meal, you're going to need 1 cup of dry lentils, 5 carrots, a can of mushrooms, I'll explain why here in a minute, 1 small onion, about 1 pound of potatoes, whichever you prefer, again, some garlic, tomato paste, seasonings of choice, and some homemade or store-bought veggie broth. Both of these meals are super similar. When I am creating our meal plan, I say this all the time, I like to create our meal plan around 1 or 2 starches. Same with beans. If I know I'm going to use lentils for one recipe, I might as well use them for multiple throughout the week. So same with the other recipe. I got my pan hot. I added my onions, salt, and a little bit of veggie broth. Then with this one, I added some carrots. You could use peppers with this one as well. It would probably taste really good. It is a lentil mushroom stew, really good. There's a lot of stirring involved in these recipes. Unlike the first one, I put the tomato paste in with the carrots, garlic, and onion. I didn't do that with the first one because I was adding tomatoes later on, and I feel like the tomato flavor goes really well when you add them both together, but that's personal preference as well. So stir that all up, make sure everything gets nice and flavorful, and then add your lentils, stir it up again, and then you're gonna add again 4 cups of water. Once my lentils were almost completely cooked, I went ahead and added my potatoes, and I keep a timer on GOOGLE. I won't say that out loud because I don't want yours to go off if you have one. But I go ahead and keep a timer set for all of them. That way my meals are completed in about 30 to 35 minutes. So here you can see my lentils are almost all the way cooked. I went ahead and added my potatoes and my mushrooms. Stirred it all up again, added some of my veggie broth, about 2 cups. I just filled my pan all the way because I knew I wouldn't let it boil over. You can definitely use a different pot, a larger pot if you want to. Put the lid on and let it finish cooking. I did want to share with you really quickly the difference in fresh versus canned mushrooms. Today I'm using canned mushrooms, which I honestly don't think I've ever used besides pizza, but I thought I'd share with you just the price differential in case you want to save a couple of dollars in making this meal like I did. The fresh mushrooms are 8 ounces and the canned mushrooms are 13.25. The fresh mushrooms that you see here were $4.69. The canned mushrooms were $1.99. So just a way you can save a little bit of money if you don't find them on discount, which I talk about all the time. That's how I find my mushrooms. Couldn't find any this day when I went to the store. So just a way to add a little bit of flavor to your soup and to take some money out of your pocketbook, get the canned ones. This soup was definitely my favorite of the 2 recipes. I am a big soup person and I share that all the time. I've been sharing a lot of soup recipes recently. It's not even cold here. I mean, 97 I think today, but we're having soup because That's what I think sounds good. I also shared with you in my last couple of videos that I like to make homemade bread, and I will link some recipe videos down below. It's a great alternative, and you can make it gluten-free if you want to. You can play with the recipes, kind of make it your own, but it's a great additive to kind of bulk up the meal a little bit. And who doesn't like soup with bread or salad and soup and bread? Yes. So this meal was so good. It was a great stew. It's a great cozy recipe for fall. I hope you try both of these recipes out, and you'll let me know over on Instagram which one you try or which one you prefer if you try both of them. So of course, now let's get into the cost of this recipe as well. I'm here for these like slow stop motions. I've been doing them also on Instagram Reels, just having a lot of fun with different edits and stuff. But let's talk cost. So this was actually the more expensive of the two soups. Lentils were 40 cents for 1 cup dry. Mushrooms were $2. Like I said, you can save quite a bit of money if you buy them in a can, and they were still really delicious. Carrots were 75 cents, onion 50 cents, 1 pound of potatoes $1, and then the rest of the tomato paste, I did have some left over, but this meal cost a total of $4.99. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you really loved it. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say, give this video a huge thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what recipe you're using first in your meal plan in the weeks ahead. I hope you really enjoyed these recipes. Of course, I do wanna remind you, you can make these in your Instant Pot, in your pressure cooker, in your crock pot. Cooking times will just vary. It took me about 30-35 minutes per meal for each of these because of the lentils. They do take about 25 to 30 minutes on your stovetop. I'll link a lentil recipe from Pinterest down below that I use all the time. It's literally foolproof. But if you were to make these in your crock pot, they would take about 4 hours on high. And then Instant Pot does vary if you have the Instant Pot brand or if you have an off brand like I do. Check your cooking times in your recipe book or just Google it. But just because I made these on stovetop doesn't mean you have to. You can make them whichever way best suits you, your family, and your lifestyle. Have an awesome day. I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye-bye.